The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Let's reconnect with our heroes for another episode of adventure and fun. The companions have reached Trilliums' home forest after an accelerated hike from Herak and are ready to formulate their plans for stopping Grooknock. Enjoy the podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com, on iTunes, Facebook, Google+, Bing, all over the place. Of course, if you like us on iTunes, give us a good rating there. It does help others find us on iTunes. We are continuing with our Dungeon World campaign that we are titling A New Frontier. We are using this in the world of Parandisi. A big thank you to Mike Robertson, who gave us the map of Parandisi that we're currently working from. We're going to go around the table and say hi. We'll start with the person right here to my left, who is...
Hello, this is Chris. I'm playing Uriel, the Immolator.
Hi, this is Kelly. I'm playing Trillium, the Druid.
And this is Kurt. I am playing Breton, the Ranger.
And this is Bridget. I am playing Lenore, the Cleric.
And I'm Joe. I am the Game Master as we continue A New Frontier in our Dungeon World campaign. Who wants to give us a quick recap of our last session?
Not it.
Not it.
All right, I'll do it. So we started out in the Stinky Salamander in Herak. It's a great big place.
It's a nice place.
It's pretty nice. And
it takes two hands to describe what Herak is
huge
like.
tracts of land.
Yes.
And Breton had just recently gotten out of jail after being detained for impersonating a nobleman. Mm-hmm. So we got him up to speed on what happened to Gerald and the secret menagerie of mythical creature skeletons and everything that was going on in town for the 2 days he was out. And then we found, he had told us there were reports of a tribe of hobgoblins. Was it Grooknock's tribe or clan? Was he's making a name for himself out in Falshang's forest out past Valshand, causing a ruckus, burning the place down.
You got it.
Not so good. So our trusted ally and friend Trilliums, no bueno on that. Let's go do something about it. And plus me, I mean, like, nobody uses fire, when my buddy's forest. Screw that noise. I'm the fire guy.
It's like, it's literally hundreds of acres of a forest that is currently, the current name of it is Valshank's Forest, is where Trillium makes her home. And that forest is being laid claim to by King Grooknock, yes.
So we made our way to Trillium's home place in the Valshank's Forest, and we were deciding the best plan of action to go after these hobgoblins.
And here we are. So we have our cleric, our ranger, our druid, and our immolator.
We have our cultist, our druid, our immolator.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Cleric.
You're not fully clean unless you're cult fully clean.
Yeah, that's getting old.
Kelly,
I mean, they were my favorite band back in the cult. It was Firewoman.
the Blue Oyster Cult?
No, the cult
The
with Firewoman. Yeah, it was
See,
pretty
I
good
prefer
too.
Blue Oyster Cult.
Well, no, they're good
I don't
too.
fear the Reaper.
Well,
Right. Kelly, if you would, please, from Trillium's perspective, describe the den at which we find all of our characters.
All right, so we are in my my personal living area. It's like a cave behind a waterfall, and
Which is very picturesque in my mind, by the way. I really like the idea. There's this constant white noise of the waterfall in the background, and maybe a little crackle of fire with a pop of a cinder every now and then, right?
Oh yeah, sounds nice.
Go for it.
Sounds nice. So I'm offering my guest a brew of special herbs and spices, something to maybe soothe our weary minds.
You have made a forced quick march back to your home. A 2-day march and maybe a day and a half. A very successful march, but I'm sure it was tiring nonetheless.
Yes. And as you look around, I have like little jars of soil
Shrunken
and
heads.
just things that you would, you know,
Okay.
just things in nature that you would maybe find, but I have like in glass
So is it
bottles or,
something
you
like
know.
you've got a mason jar of an oak tree in case you need to plant one?
Yeah,
somewhere
things
or
like
something,
that, or
kind of
like a
thing? Yeah.
jar full of worms to,
Okay.
you know.
Got like seeds and
Fireflies.
stuff.
Yeah,
seeds,
yeah. Just
Okay.
things that I've collected throughout the forest.
Okay.
Do you have
Every
a rock
once in a while.
collection?
I definitely have a rock
Really?
collection.
I
Yes,
just, I just like
Is
rocks.
there a small fire keeping everyone warm?
Oh,
within
definitely.
the cave? Okay.
definitely.
I just have a vision that at any given moment, Papa Smurf is going to come through, and then we're going to hear la 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 la. It is lovely.
Lying down.
It's so peaceful here. I definitely understand why you prefer this to the city.
Oh yeah,
Now
definitely.
there is this, even though you're in this peaceful atmosphere, everybody has that several levels of hairs on the back of your neck that are sticking up, knowing that around this area, within perhaps even yards, King Grooknock's forces are ready to set fire to this place at any moment because they have laid claim to Falshank's forest and they will not be denied. Except, of course, perhaps by you.
So I've lived in this forest for a long time, and I have certain like safeguards planted throughout just in case something like this would happen. I have these, I guess, exploding sunflowers
I
that
like the idea. I'm
if there
liking
is
it.
fire, if there's fire, they explode. So that like if someone is, you know, setting that earth on fire, then it backfires on them. I guess would be
Nice.
like the way to describe it. So like if we, you know, maybe as we're like traveling and things like that, if we hear any sort of explosion, we know like where it might be coming from. That it's,
So
you
is
know,
this
my
like
exploding
your version of
sunflowers.
ADT security around
Yeah,
your home?
yeah.
Okay. So somewhere in strategic points around your waterfall home,
Yes.
there are things to alert you if somebody is about to
Yes.
invade your home. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like the exploding sunflowers.
That's pretty sweet.
CPI security, identify yourself.
Sunflower security.
You don't know me.
So, Uriel, stay away from the sunflowers.
Yeah.
It's a good point. They're probably combustible in some way.
But yeah, so we're all kind of sitting around drinking this soothing tea.
I don't really care for this.
And
Soothing, does it have any type of intoxicating effect? Or is it just soothing?
it's just soothing
Relaxing.
from our
Okay.
weary travels.
Chamomile kind of thing.
And we all know that we're safe in my den for now. But we need to definitely get out there and kick some ass.
I'm going to come over and sit next to you specifically.
Hey.
And
Because you have an energy where you're disturbed and you're
suffering.
feeling mental suffering
Okay.
because of what's happening in the forest. And
Okay.
I'm going to try and soothe you a little bit from that. And it'll make me feel better.
How would you soothe me?
Just rub your shoulder.
Oh.
Say, you know, we'll fix this. We'll get this taken care
You can
of.
rub my shoulders.
I need to clean off the underside of the table here.
I'm not getting funky.
Between
I'm
I
feeding.
dimmed the
I'm
fire a
feeding
little
off.
bit.
I'm feeding off of her suffering. It
So you
attracts my
never-
attention
Okay.
that
So,
you are
Breton,
not at peace here.
you're in
right
the
now.
forest. Now, Breton is normally I guess I would call a city druid who protects the city from the forest.
Right, a city
If I remember
ranger.
right?
Yeah.
City ranger. You are literally enveloped in the forest, which is not city, deep within the home of a druid, what is it that Breton would be looking for to make sure that he can help contribute to this
Right.
cause?
Well, normally I might be looking for something, but at the moment I'm just watching the two ladies comforting each other.
I was actually trying to get past
Well, there-
that. Because
I shouldn't have
need a
gone
moment
there.
to myself.
Yeah. So I'm very comfortable in nature, although I love the social aspect of the city. That's why but I'm starting to feel, or I do feel more comfortable with this group. So there is a nice social nature, but like you said, there's a sense of kind of impending doom or threat. So I'm actually more anxious to kind of get out and see what we can do to protect the
Trillium
land.
managed to relate to the group her explosive sunflower defenses. What would perhaps Breton and Cloud be looking to do to help the
Yeah, I mean, if I were going out, I'd be, wanting to get out and scout the area around where the hobgoblins are to figure out.
So let's take it as you will do that. Uriel, if Breton's going to step out to do that, and you're watching two women console each other. This is not a video podcast, but Chris's face. Anyway, what might
I'm
Uriel
touching
be
her
up to?
shoulder. We're fully
That's
how it
clothed.
starts.
That's
That's how it
enough.
starts.
I'm getting agitated
what's
because we're
your
just sitting
reluctance?
around doing nothing, and I
Yeah.
think we need to get out there and stamp this guy
And burn
out.
something.
Yeah.
So might you follow Breton as he steps out to secure the perimeter, as I would call it?
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to get everybody together. I think we're sitting, what are we doing here? Wasting time.
Well, the thing is, yes, Uriel might think of it as wasting time. From Chris's perspective, think of it as you just got there. You
Right.
just got to finally where you're a point after a forced 1 day plus of march for a 2.5 day trip. You did a forced quick march where you made it there. You're able to find all the supplies you needed. Maybe you grabbed a couple of wild mushrooms along the way. Maybe a few berries from the bushes near Trillium's home, and you've had enough sustenance, and now you're finally in a place where there's comfort and warmth, and maybe after a half an hour you start to get restless, and at this point Breton decides maybe I should go secure the perimeter, make sure everything's okay, and Lenore is making sure Trillium is comforted in her home. Make sure that even though King Grooknock is outside and ready to just invade, think of the it's a darkness kind of enveloping the area where Trillium's home currently is. But Breton's out ready to go outside and make sure all of the the security cameras have charged batteries and that there's a proper connection between everything, that kind of thing. Make sure that the perimeter's okay. What would Uriel be doing at that point?
I'd still be wanting to push everybody to let's go, or else I'm just going to go myself and take care of it.
So,
Because I'm really wanting to be. He's the hothead.
So considering,
Even though they did the forced march, he's like, let's just get this done.
considering Breton is about to step outside to make sure that the perimeter, that where the trees have the right cameras in them, so to
Right.
speak, would you be ready to step outside with him?
Yeah, but I'm I don't want them to dither hanging out and comforting each other.
You do.
That's not dithering.
Yeah, are you ready to go? Do you?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm
Then
good to go.
Let's follow the guys out.
Yeah.
Because my thought is I'm not looking to stay here and hang out for a
No,
night.
I mean we just wanted to.
So it's
and I know
catch our breath.
there's been the
Yeah.
forced march, so that might be the idea of the
I'm
group.
going to stick with the idea of it's a long-term march where it was forced. However, based on what Bridget said with Lenore comforting Trillium, make sure her home is okay, and Kurt saying Breton is going to make sure outside is okay, I'm going to temporarily split the party in that Breton and Uriel will walk outside for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Do you need help with anything?
I do not. I think Uriel needs to go outside and take a breath.
He's quite
Maybe
anxious.
In
stand in
fact,
the
I
water
don't like
for a
the tea
minute.
because it's calming me down.
Chamomile
I toss it in the fire.
Yeah. He wants capsaicin tea instead of chamomile tea, right? So we're going to split temporarily, at least, in that saying that both Breton and Uriel step outside.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to do that.
Okay.
Outside, we're going to say it's late day, getting towards dusk. Looking up towards the sky, you can see the sun setting in the west, and the shadows are a nice amber color throughout the forest. It's a nice, beautiful time of the day where the warmth is just starting to leave the area, but you can still feel it in your bones. There's a nice warm feeling throughout. Maybe not warm enough for Uriel, because fire is still warmer than the light of the sun from where you are. The shadows are just starting to obfuscate the area. And, Breton, you can feel there's something in the air tonight. You can feel it in the air tonight. Hold on, as Phil Collins said. Breton's going to do the drum, Phil. There's something there that says there's an ominous feeling that you feel as if you're being surrounded, although there's no clear evidence of it. That the feeling of darkness is closing in, and there's something behind the darkness that is pushing closer and closer. You're outside of Trillium's home at this point, within 20 yards or so. You're not very far, but there's this feeling of something is coming, danger is coming, and there's some. You're compelled to do something about it. What is that? It's definitely Breton that feels it. Uriel knows something's bad is happening because he knows something bad's happening. Something bad's always happening, right?
That's true.
But Breton feels this. There's a constriction. There's a 1,000-yard long boa constrictor around Foulshank's forest that is tightening and tightening and tightening. And it feels like the way it's been going tonight is going to be at the point at which the forest is suffocated if something doesn't happen.
Right.
Do we feel that?
I was going to say...
Not inside. Right now...
I'm not having any sort of stir of...
Right now, Trillium is currently being comforted by Lenore, and everything is okay in that world.
Okay.
I think I'd do two things. I would send Cloud out first, farther out to scout the area, and then I would come back and tell them, like, y'all, we don't have, even though it's lovely here, Trillium, and your beautiful home, we don't have time to sit. We need to go find...
Now, here's the tricky part. Cloud, even as stubborn as Cloud is, I can't remember if Cloud a boy or a girl.
Gender neutral.
I thought we established it, but I can't remember. Let's say Cloud is a girl.
That was a girl, I thought.
She is unwilling to go more than about 20 feet away from you. There's a skittishness.
Really?
Cloud normally has her tail high and proud over the back of her body, and Cloud's tail is almost buried between her hind legs, and she will not go more than 20 feet from you. And there's a whimpering sound that you've heard Cloud make, but only when you say, like, bad Cloud, no Cloud, don't do that, Cloud, kind of thing, and you're very stern. It's more of a fear. Your Cloud, as your wolf, as stubborn and ruthless as she is, will not proceed more than about 20 feet away from your side. There's something closing in that is bigger than what Cloud has previously experienced, and she cannot bring herself to stand up to it and make it her bitch, as it were, right? Because your wolf is very persistent. Yeah.
So do I have any sense for, is this someone actually coming our way, or is this just the general hobgoblin awfulness? It sounds like it's more specific.
I'm going to say it's more hobgoblin awfulness closing in on you at this time. And Cloud, where Cloud can usually pick out, there's a scout in the tree over there, or there's an archer over there, or there's this group of bad things coming in from that area in the woods. Cloud is like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. In general, there's a constricting badness happening, and there's no way to just say, if I bite that, it'll go away. So Cloud is overwhelmed with impending doom. She doesn't want to leave your side.
So it sounds like we may be making our stand here at Trillium's house rather than going to the Hobgoblin's
Could be.
fort.
Uriel, you're outside and witnessing what's going on. What do you think?
Yeah, but I don't pick up on the uneasiness, or is it different for me?
It's probably, I would say overall, I mean, I hate to say this normally in Dungeon World terms, but what's your wisdom?
16.
Oh, yeah. It's very clear that between Breton and Cloud, there's an uneasiness in the air. It's almost, I can feel it in the air tonight.
Right.
Hold on, kind of thing. I don't know why I'm going to keep going back to Phil Collins here, but there's something in the air, as it were, that you can feel that says, wow, the ranger is off his game, and holy crap, not just that, his wolf is standing on 3 feet instead of 4, and the one that's off the ground is twitching the whole time, and the ears are back and the tail is down, and there's something out here outside of Trillium's home that says, holy crap, there's a constriction.
But her sunflowers aren't going off?
Not yet.
That's if something's on
Not
fire.
yet. When those sunflowers go off, Trillium will know.
Hey, cultist, do you have some kind of like detect good or evil that would help us with what's coming?
Now, my next question to that would be, before you finish asking that, would you stick your head inside the waterfall cave to ask that question?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm only 20 feet away, right?
You're not far out, right? You're outside of the home.
Right. I mean, I would tell her there's something really wrong out here.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to act quickly. Do you have any
There's something
sense?
crappy going on in your shed. What's going on in there?
Well, I could.
I mean, I know you're having fun with your back rub here, but
No,
It's
matters
a
may
I'm not
require-
getting
shoulder
anything.
rub?
matters may require
Shoulder.
your attention.
I mean, I could do a divine guidance and see if my deity.
As long as you can, reiterate to us listeners what all that means.
Okay.
Go for it.
When you petition your deity according to the precept of your religion, you are granted some useful knowledge or boon related to your deity's domain. The GM will tell you what.
So, Kurt, remind us, when Breton stuck his head past the waterfall into the cave, what he said that would infer that Lenore should actually do this.
I mean, I think I was saying it feels like something really bad is about to happen out here, but I'm not sure what. Are you getting any sense for evil in the area?
So, Lenore, go to your good divine guidance, and I remember last time that was kind of a cut and a blood thing. Describe what happens.
Do I have to do any kind of roll?
What does divine guidance say?
I don't know.
I don't think it has a roll.
It doesn't say that, but
Right.
I don't know the game. So, So I don't feel anything in the cave or in Trillium's home, so I'm going to step outside with you and kind of feel it. And I don't know what it is either, but I feel oppression. Like I feel the same thing that you guys were feeling. Feel like dread, oppression, something bad's going to happen. Something that...
Okay. So when you step out there, tell me, when you seek guidance from Zoraika, how do you seek it?
Well, since Zoraika is the goddess of suffering and healing, I need to get her attention by causing myself suffering or feeding off of some sort of deep suffering. So I use my holy symbol and cause myself to have a cut. And before, I used the blood actually formed an arrow and pointed us in a direction that we needed to go, but I don't know what it might do this time. So
this time, as you caused the cut. Now, I'm going with what we can see. With, of course, the audio people cannot see. On your right arm, you cause another cut with your arm. The blood actually comes up, and there's like one drop of blood, but it forms the shape of a humanoid creature. And this creature has a bit of a crown upon its head. And as you see that, the creature, you, Lenore, are sure it is an abomination type of creature, a goblinoid, hobgoblinoid, if you will, creature who raises a trident above his head. And you, Lenore, can hear a shout in your head as you practically black out. And Zoraika communicates to you, they are coming, ... exclamation point. So outside, amongst Uriel and Breton, as Lenore stepped out, did this cut on her arm, and you could actually see blood form into a weird shape. You could almost hear, it's like electricity in the air that you could almost hear. Lenore drops to a knee, and at that point, you almost imperceptibly, it's kind of like if you're too far from the fireworks celebration on the 4th of July, you can hear a city set off their fireworks. You hear a drum beat, almost like a thump, 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 off in the background. Just faint enough that you know something's going on. And as that happens, Lenore drops to a knee. Trillium, her head sticks out from behind the fire, behind the waterfall. And it comes together as, oh shit's about to get real.
And Uriel's fired up.
I think we should go out to meet them. Because they're not necessarily coming for this place because they probably don't know about it. They're just doing their normal thing.
Yeah.
And I won't be expecting resistance.
We can't stay here
They won't
anymore.
be expecting resistance like us anyway.
Yeah. Obviously, whatever is around here, it's getting stronger and more widespread. So we have to...
It's going from bad to worse.
Yeah, we need to move.
We don't want to draw them here.
No.
Lenore?
Do we need to get that moss that you were talking about?
The moss.
The moss from the side of the
fungi.
stream to help.
Fungus.
Oh, the
The fungus.
That's for healing. We don't.
Fungus.
It's not going to help us out
Yeah.
in this.
No.
We want to prevent the fire from starting.
Well,
We want to prevent the fire.
Yeah, they were going to burn the forest down.
Yeah, but Uriel here, you were gonna
He can burn it down first.
you were gonna burn the
Well, we were going to burn the
Preemptive
camp.
try to
burn the
kind
nation.
of burn up the the camp,
So
or at least like where the
Yeah, but we're not going to wherever. I mean, we're going to meet them wherever they're at. Who knows where
So
they're
Okay.
Lenore, you have a clear picture in your head now. If you close your eyes, you can view King Grooknock. You know, Zoraika has provided you with a view of King Grooknock. He actually has a height greater than any hobgoblin that you've ever seen. So this guy, King Grooknock, is probably like 7, 8 feet, 9 feet, 20 feet tall. Who knows? He's way taller than any hobgoblin you've ever seen or read about or laid witness to. And there's a scar from the top right of his face down to the bottom left of his face, as if he had been struck by a very large blade that cut a swath through his face that clearly marked him as somebody who survived a very bad thing. He suffered horribly. And Zoraika has said to you directly, to Lenore, this is the hobgoblin who is commanding the forces that seek to take over Trillium's home. So without a doubt, Lenore could identify King Grooknock
Okay. So,
based on Zoraika's
so do
guidance.
I tell them?
Do you?
Yeah. In my vision, Zoraika blessed me with a vision of Grooknock, and he's no normal Hobgoblin King. He's unnaturally large. But if I saw him, I would know him. And you'll probably know him right away because he's going to be gigantic.
Is he a
Okay.
hobgoblin?
He's hobgoblin-ish. There's definitely something off about him. But he has a giant scar across his face and he's wearing a crown. And he's unnaturally large for hobgoblin. Like,
But is he resistant to fire?
she didn't tell me that.
Well, I guess we're gonna find out. Time to turn up the heat.
Well, we have also got magic missile. We can see what works.
We'll see what it takes to kill Grooknock. In the meantime, he is definitely a force to be reckoned with in Falshank's forest.
Do I know where he is?
No. There was no clear indication of where he was.
Just follow the
Just-
sound of the drums.
Yeah, he is the thing, the force of badness that is causing the current conflicts within Falshank's forest.
So I definitely get the feeling we need to find him now.
Yeah.
I just realized the advanced moves, the Thing Talker.
Yeah.
So does that mean that I can I can shapeshift into, like, the stream, or
No, 'cause
I
that-
could shapeshift into a tree,
Tree, yes.
and could I move? Like, is that what that
Like an ant?
is, or am I
So
like,
here's
making
what
that
we'll
up?
do, Kelly. If you would, read what the Thing Talker says, and let's talk through it quickly,
All right.
and then we'll decide what that means.
So it says, you see the spirits in the sand, the sea, and the stone. You may now apply your spirit tongue, shape-shifting, and studied essence to inanimate natural objects, so plants or rocks,
Yeah.
or creatures made thereof, as well as animals. It says, Thing Talker forms can be exact copies or can be mobile, vaguely humanoid-shaped entities.
So when it comes to Spirit Tongue, that basic move, or starting move from the Druid says, the grunts, barks, chirps, and calls of the creatures of the wild are as language to you. Which, to me, I interpret that as you now are able to understand how rocks and trees and water communicate.
Right.
Well, it's
Because
not water.
as-
Not water.
They specifically mention water in another
Right.
called
No,
World
but
Talker.
and it
yeah.
also says shapeshifter.
Right.
So,
So it means
shape-shifting.
But it's only plants and rocks.
But
Right.
the reason I say water is Thing Talker says sand, sea, and stone. So
Right.
I'm including water in that, at least at a basic level.
Yeah.
Because they mention about the pure elements of fire, water, air, and earth under
Right.
World Talker, which is a
Yeah.
higher level advanced move.
So
Because this
what-
just says natural objects, plants and rocks.
So I get it. The way I treat this, just so you know, Kelly, is basic communication. So colors, shapes, emotions,
Good, bad.
right? From
Okay.
those basic elements, you can communicate those. And then later, to Chris's point, when you go to World Talker, you're able to talk the language of water, the language of rock, the language of whatever. However, to start with, when you're a talker of basic water element, it is cool, hot, bad, good,
Okay.
basic elements. It's like, as much as I know Spanish, and Bridget thinks that's funny because I say stupid things in Spanish from what I've learned in 7th grade Spanish class.
Right.
Compared to someone who has taken Spanish in college or becomes fluent in
Right.
the language. Right.
Right, but what about shape-shifting?
Yeah. So shape
Like, it's one thing to...
shape shifting is still basically, my perspective is basically you're shifting into the form of something you know as a druid. Typically, we talk about animals. If at some point you need to shapeshift into something that is not animal form, then we need to talk about that.
Okay. And that's what I'm asking. Is so, like, if I were to shapeshift into a tree, for instance, could I move?
That's what it
does
said.
say
It
that.
said
does-
mobile.
Yep, it does say
Okay.
mobile,
or if I
vaguely humanoid.
shapeshifted, let's say I shapeshifted into water, like the stream.
Yeah.
Could I
Shifted into the
You're going to
great
be like
walking
Terminator
trace
when he
of
melted
Faustian-
in the,
Yeah,
like the
like-
puddle of mercury.
Exactly. Like, could I travel through the stream as
Crikey,
water?
she's a beaut of the oak trees in the Faustian's forest. One of the walking varieties we haven't seen around these parts in years.
Well, it didn't say that you could be water, but it said you could definitely be
Yeah,
plants
I mean,
and
it
rocks
says
and trees.
inanimate natural objects,
And then plants and rocks.
plants and rocks.
And now, if you treat the word inanimate literally,
Means not moving.
not animated, so
Oh,
the
that's
tree
true.
couldn't move. However,
It does say,
But it
well,
says
no,
you
it
can
mentions,
be a moving.
It mentions Thing Talker's forms can be exact copies or can be mobile, vaguely humanoid-shaped entities. So like an ant, from Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings.
So
Yeah,
you
that's
could be
kinda like
a
the-
mobile tree.
so here's the important part
good to
to
know.
me.
A shrubbery.
If Kelly is going to
Not too
make
expensive.
if Kelly is going to make the story more interesting, do the shit.
Yeah.
Right? Make it happen. Make it go.
Okay.
If you what you're thinking you think is more boring than what's actually happening, let's not do it.
Okay.
If it's more interesting, shit yeah, let's do it.
All right. Cool.
Big rock creature.
So what
or
you
something.
thinking?
I don't know. I was thinking like maybe become like part of the stream. Because then I could at least like travel to other parts of the forest as water and maybe like
Okay.
see things from that perspective.
So let me tell
Would it
you
be
what
easier to be a
that
bird?
means to me in
true.
game terms. It means you're going to discern realities.
Okay.
You're going to take your abilities as a druid to talk to and become that which is the stream. Because, again, from Joe's perspective, the stream is more than running water. The stream touches everything. The plants eat off of that which is the stream. The stream moves rock and stone, eventually wears away everything, right? The water, I guess Chinese water torture is the wrong way to look at it, but the idea it eventually wears away at everything. If Trillium is going to communicate, become the stream, then she's going to get more. I don't like that Kurt just came in and grabbed a paper towel and walked back out. Anyway, so Kelly, Trillium is going to communicate with and as the water.
Okay.
And what does that mean? So to me, that is a discern realities. And if you look at your basic move sheet, at discern realities, that's going to give us what it is that we're looking for.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at what happened here recently, what's useful or valuable to me, etc.
All right.
So let's look at that as that move.
Can I go ahead and roll?
Go for it.
All right. Here we go. All right. 5 plus 1. Wait, no, plus 2. So
That's
7.
Okay. So 7,
I get to ask
believe, gives you 1
Yeah.
of one of the 6 questions that is there.
Okay.
And at this point in time, both Lenore and Trillium are in the same place trying to figure stuff out. So I'm happy with Bridget and Kelly collaborating on what Discern Reality's question to ask, if you have thoughts on what's going on.
I mean, I know, like, I'd like to ask what is about to happen, being that we're
Yeah.
all kind of feeling this impending, doom.
Okay.
But
And
Bridget,
I will tell
if
you,
you have any,
based on the
I
way
don't.
Joe handles this, I won't just tell you a hobgoblin attack is going to happen, because that's just too stupid and obvious, because you knew that already. If you want to ask that question, there will be more to it. If you decide collaboratively that you have a different question, I'm fine with that as well. If that's a question, I'm ready for that
The
one.
one thing that came up in my mind is who's really in control here, because I was shown a vision of that unnatural hobgoblin. Is he really the one in control, or is there some other force that's controlling this?
yeah. Now, are we assuming that these hobgoblins are part of the bigger picture with, like, the stealing and, everything that was going
All
on.
the thefts and whatnot.
I'll give you an insight that doesn't require an extra roll. Based on what you've learned so far, no. They're not entwined. If there is a link between the hobgoblins that have stolen from Valshand and the hobgoblins that are currently taking over, it is a much larger link. There's no direct link. It's not like King Grooknock isn't also trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the blacksmith shop in Herak. He has no
Okay.
link to that whatsoever.
Okay.
If there's anything larger, if there's any bigger link, it's based on a larger puppet master.
And maybe if we find out who's really in control, we'll find that puppet master.
So you have one question to ask between Trillium and Lenore, based on your Discern Realities roll, where I will give you something that is factually accurate based on our current world in Paradisi. You just have to come up with what you want to ask.
Okay.
And it can be a variation of any one of those questions. It does not have to match exact. For example, if you want to know whose footsteps these are, just ask whose footsteps these are. It doesn't have to be one of the built-in questions. If you have something that's close enough, I'll answer. I try and be prepared based on the questions that are there. But sometimes, like when we were in the blacksmith shop, you want to know who killed him. There isn't a question of who killed the blacksmith, right?
Right.
We try and figure out what's based on the situation we're in.
Yeah, I like the question of who's really in control here, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, if we could know either what's about to happen or even what happened recently, like that would be helpful, I guess. But
Lenore is there with Trillium, so you're welcome to collaborate on what the question is. What do you think it ought to be? Outside,
They do separate discern reality rolls?
they can, but right now we're treating one that happened. Outside, we have Breton and Uriel.
Well, we're outside too.
You're outside, but not as outside as they are, I guess, is the way I'm looking at it. You guys are
Way
right at like the
outside.
waterfall stream
Right, 'cause-
area. You're at her home still, whereas Uriel and Breton have taken 20, 30 yards outside and are feeling the oppression of something dark closing in. Dark as in the forest is one thing, the darkness is the opposing thing, trying to close in on it. So they're feeling something that you haven't quite felt yet. However, at Trillium's home, there's still the overwhelming feeling of warmth and comfort, and this is the way life should be. But there's something there. There's this niggling feeling of badness closing in, and that's what you're currently trying to decide. What question do you ask on Discern Realities based on what is that feeling that tells you, damn, this shit ain't right, dog? What is
Do you want to
that?
go with what's about to happen?
well, now I'm thinking about who's in control here, like who's really in control,
Yeah.
because let's do that. Who's really in
Okay.
control?
So, in wondering this, and again, I'm going to treat it as Trillium and Lenore collaborating, that there's a situation happening. Lenore has already expressed that she's aware of King Grooknock as some superimposing hobgoblin figure. And I'll go with what I said. He's 6 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet. Who knows how tall this guy? This hobgoblin is the biggest hobgoblin that Zoraika has shown you in a vision, with this slash across his face from some kind of great slashing weapon that he was able to endure, and he is the king of hobgoblins because he has this perseverance, this power, this control, this presence that says, no hobgoblin shall oppose me. You get this glimpse, Trillium, you get this glimpse that behind him, there's somebody holding this little cross of strings that lead to the back of King Grooknock, and you can see he's a puppet being guided by something. There's a marionette, a clear marionette, and back there, in your head, you feel that these strings link to civilization, not to the wild. There's something in a civilization, possibly Herak, that is controlling King Grooknock. Something that is making King Grooknock march forward upon Falshank's forests. That who is really in control here is not the king of the hobgoblins. Now, although he is no less evil because of it, whoever is pulling his strings comes from civilization itself.
Okay.
So the hobgoblins in this area taking over that which you have come to call home, the destruction of that which you have come to call home is happening by the hand of the hobgoblin tribe of Grooknock, controlled by someone within the city.
Okay. Wow.
what
So
do
it
you
sounds
think?
like we'll have to like battle it out here and then
Go back to the city.
go back to the city. Yeah. All right. That was informative.
So how do you handle the issues surrounding your home?
We need to get rid of Grooknock.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then go figure out. Maybe
Yeah.
we hold person him before we kill him and grill him.
Make him suffer a little bit.
Does
Make
he-
him suffer. Well, we can't make him suffer.
Zorika might like that, though.
Well, yeah, but I can't hold him and make him suffer at the same time.
I
Oh, you
make him
can?
suffer.
As soon as he has
As soon as he
damage,
takes any
he's
kind of
no longer
damage.
held.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Although you could hold him long enough for him to be bound, right?
True. Yeah, and then I could do all kinds of crazy things.
Uh-oh.
Crazy
Keep it in your
cul-de-sacs.
pants.
Keep it.
Give him
Oh,
a
it's
dirty
around
Muriel.
it's around my neck. It's at the ready around my neck.
Nice.
No comment.
So let's take this as a next step. And anybody tell me if I'm wrong here. What's the preparation in defending Trillium's home? Who's going to do what?
Well, her home being the forest.
Or
Right.
Specifically, right now, her home being that den behind the waterfall.
Well,
So
I'm
this specific
Because-
area.
but I was
Breton
assuming
has felt the darkness closing in, as has Uriel. Although Uriel probably just wants to set fire to the darkness.
I'm kind of with Uriel on this. I
Right.
almost want to be like, show yourself and,
Light the
maybe
path.
let Uriel kind of light up.
I say we meet him
Just
out there.
remember,
That's-
you're in
yeah.
the forest, and Uriel's light is fire.
I'm thinking that we need to move away from your house
for
to
you.
protect it because it's been hidden, it's been undiscovered, it's been untouched.
This
I
is
get
why
the
say
vibe
we
that-
They
go
may
out and
not
meet 'em.
know. Yeah,
That's what I
let's-
mean.
Let's
It's-
go towards where they are.
Right. Well, if they're coming in closer, yeah, we need to like go to where they are. Yeah.
Get away from your safe spot.
Because either they already know about my spot because we're there and they're coming in closer, or, yeah, either way, we've got to get.
We don't want to draw them to your home.
This
to
is
your-
true,
You-
too. So,
So let's go.
yeah.
Where?
The drums.
Yeah. Follow those drums.
All those drums.
So the beat of evil that's approaching.
I thought you actually had there was like war drums going on.
Yes, but it's from all around. It is an ominous presence of the evil that is surrounding.
Would you like Zorika to
Trillium's
draw a map again?
home. You know,
Sure.
divine guidance probably wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Kind of point us in the right direction.
All right.
Unless you want to turn into like a bird and do like a little spot check.
That's a good point. The
You could
druid
do
hasn't
that.
been much of a druid in the last couple episodes.
That's true. Well, I just turned into a stream, so.
Your tongue has just barely stopped itching
Oh,
from licking
God.
the blacksmith's mouth.
Jeez. Again, not my proudest moment.
Sorry, I missed that.
Talk about it.
There's a little
doubt.
bit of. I want to say, every time that Trillium talks, there's that feeling of like a tingling, and I like to equate the you put a 9-volt battery on your tongue kind of thing.
Ugh.
There's that feeling of there's a tingling that you know something happened. And in this case, the tingling is Rainbow Kohosh and Dead Guy.
Yeah, that's the best ever.
Yummy.
It's mostly gone, but when you talk, there's that thickness to your tongue that's kind of itchy that although you're saying something like, I'm feeling great today, everyone else is hearing, I'm feeling great today.
I'm
Right?
sure there's some
Got
sort of
marshmallow
toad you
tongue?
can lick to fix that,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Something out there.
Probably got one in
My
a jar.
forest.
So
Yeah.
a lot of that is going away. However, Trillium knows that it was like, like I don't know, when people aren't looking, you stick your tongue out and like scratch at it with your fingers kind of thing.
Okay.
You're licking trees randomly
Yeah.
And toads.
and rocks.
Whatever I can get my tongue
Anything,
on.
anything that isn't dead blacksmith.
Right.
Unzips. What?
Wait, what?
What?
All right. So, do you want me to just become like I could maybe turn into a hawk.
Well, unless we
Either-
could use the
like-
Either
divine guidance
you can
to,
do
like,
that, or I
go
can
here.
try and get an arrow
Yeah.
and what direction we should go.
Talk to me, Goose.
I'm fine with cutting myself
Frosty.
again. I mean,
Go for it.
do I need to do any kind of...
Is it divine guidance?
Yeah.
Then let's talk about what that means, because you're petitioning your deity according to the precept of your religion, which will grant you some useful knowledge or boon related to your deity's domain. And then, well, Joe gets to tell you what that means.
Okay.
You can cut.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go on the left this time. I'm feeling a little bit dizzy, but I don't mind it.
Talk about it. Describe it, so
All
I
right.
can tell you what Zoraika has in mind for you.
Well, I'm just going to do my usual cut with my holy symbol
Okay.
across my...
the dagger with the
Yeah, it's my little-
ornamentation.
my little blessed dagger across my arm and hold it out, and as in previous times, the blood will drip and form into a crude sort of arrow directional.
So because you've been asking for guidance from Zoraika a bit without necessarily any specific pay back to Zoraika recently, what happens, everyone else watching, so between Uriel and Trillium and Breton, Lenore falls with her left arm, because she cut her left arm. Her left arm with her index finger pointed outwards. She falls down to the ground with her index finger pointed east, and then bounces back up like nothing happened, and stands there, and in a voice that is not her own, says the words, "Move east," and then Lenore says, "Okay, I think we know."
Thank you, goddess.
And the voice you heard is something not unlike, now Breton didn't witness it, but something not unlike the undead voice of Jolly Gerald, where it was just a the whole stuff that you heard, "Move east," and that was it, right? And then
We're supposed to
Lenore
trust
pops
that?
up off the ground and says, "Okay, I think we know."
All right.
We
And-
good?
and-
Let's go.
And
move east.
Lenore is like, no matter which way you move, your body just kind of turns east at the time you move.
Oh,
Okay, so you may take a step to the west, and as soon as you lift your foot up off the ground, you lift your right foot up, your left foot pivots to the east, and when your right foot goes down, you're headed east.
All right.
it's the ministry of silly walks.
I was just thinking that. What a silly walk.
Here I go. Apparently, we're going east.
All right.
Strongly suggested that we move east.
And Lenore is probably familiar with this, but based on Zoraika's precepts, every step you take hurts a little bit.
I was going to say, yeah, I either have a pounding headache or
Yeah.
some.
It's like If you take a step in the wrong direction, it doesn't hurt. But when you take a step towards the east, it hurts.
Oh, thank you, Zoraika.
There you go. So it
my
lets you
God,
know
that's
you're
so
headed
weird.
in the right direction.
Your
Right.
religion's messed up, man.
All right, let's follow the cultist.
Not cultist.
You're not fully clean unless you're cult fully clean.
If only you could know the joy that Zoraika brings me.
Oh.
Ow! Thank you, Zoraika.
Hashtag ow.
Hashtag more, please.
Hashtag
Yeah.
thank you.
So
Zoraika may have
presuming-
another.
Presuming that everybody decides to head off with Lenore
Yeah.
towards the east, you close the waterfall curtain that is the entrance to
Sure. Yeah.
your to Trillium's home. All right. The only people that know how to get through there are perhaps your closest chipmunk friends and what have you,
yeah.
people that come in regularly. Towards the east, to Chris, to your point earlier, the thrumming of war drums just sounds louder. I may have used a reference earlier. If I didn't, I meant to. The sound of a nearby town setting off their 4th of July
yeah.
fireworks. You're getting closer to that. And it feels like they're getting closer to the grand finale. There's louder and louder boom, boom, boom sounds. The ground actually starts to tremble underneath your feet. And there's definitely something bigger in the direction you're heading. Who would be in the front of this marching might not be the right word, but who would be in the front of the party as you're headed towards a new area?
I may not be first, but I may be walking with maybe
I want to say either
Uriel.
Uriel or Breton because of the
Yeah.
ranger skills.
somebody
Yeah.
with me because
Or
I'm
especially
pointing the
with
direction.
Cloud,
I'm
like,
keeping the
sniffing around,
direction.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if we were going into combat, Uriel would be first.
Yeah.
If we're just walking, I would be first scouting.
Well, you're definitely headed towards
We-
something bad. That's the idea here.
I think
Well,
he
they're
would-
playing my song, so I'm cool with being up.
Yeah.
I think Uriel would probably be first, right?
I'm
Yeah,
going to drop
that's what I was
back
thinking
since
too.
we got the direction we needed. I'm going to drop back and prepare my magic missile in case we get into.
So Uriel, as you guys are getting closer, there's a little rise, only a few feet, but a little rise. And as you're at the head of the party, you see over the rise first, on the other side of the rise, there are, for the lack of better description, there are all kinds of bad things happening. There are baskets hung up on like 10-foot stilts, and you can see fire under the baskets, and you hear the screams of something within the basket being burned alive.
Ooh, and I can
There-
feel it.
Probably feel it.
You're loving this.
Well,
Amongst this campground, you see the humanoid and mutant shapes of hobgoblins of different shapes and varieties. Some green-skinned, some gray-skinned. It's like a bunch of different tribes have formed together, and they're individually they're holding things like squirrels and rabbits and other natives of the forest, and you can see them just holding them and grabbing little daggers and just jabbing things into them, and it's just the whole scene that you see in front of you is of nature being slaughtered by something that is unnatural. In this case, the hobgoblins, and in the back of this area, you see a makeshift straw and wood and stone like throne that is on a movable platform, and on this platform is about a 9-foot, maybe 5-foot, maybe 20-foot tall. It's like it's so ambiguous you can hardly tell. There's this hobgoblin, definitely a hobgoblin. The shape is all hobgoblin, but this figure is a slash from the top of the one side of its face down to the other, and it seems like it's almost still oozing blood and ooze a pus along its face, and it's holding a big scepter of gold and gems, and it's just pounding it, and it's in the rhythm to the drums you've heard for almost hours now. It feels like it's permeating everything around you. And every time that thing hits, every time that scepter hits and that thrum hits, a hobgoblin somewhere grabs something sharp and pokes it into something natural. And you hear the squeals of something natural, like being defeated by that which is Grooknock pushing everything forward. And there's this feeling of darkness and stickiness and oiliness and oppression that's hovering over the area. When you peeked over the edge, the first thing you thought might have been, wow, fire cool. And then you think, wow, that shit sucks. And that's what you have to report back to your group.
How far ahead am I?
You are, looking down over the ledge, down into the clearing where this mess of badness is happening. You're a few hundred feet.
Okay.
I'm thinking of, let's say you're at one end of a college football stadium, and you can see everything happening down on the actual grass, the stadium itself. And if you look back behind you, and maybe the vending area is your party, right? But in front of you is this big. It's a big area. Bad mojo happening. There you go.
I turn around and look at Trillium, and maybe you might not be able to hear me from that far, and maybe you can see, what I'm saying with my mouth. I say, anger is a gift.
And that's where we'll stop this episode, with anger being a gift.
All right.
So we'll get ready for our next one. In the meantime, we can all say
Bye.
bye.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.